We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live, Boxing Ego Unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Bad news for Terence Crawford ahead of Canelo. Crawford, the fight. Gabe Rosado, he doesn't believe that a tiger can change his stripes. So in this video, I'm going to break it down and let you know what was said and why this is potentially bad news for Terence Bud Crawford. Now, Gabe Rosado did a brand new interview with Fight Hub, and he had some interesting things to say. I will break down what he had to say and, of course, give you guys the ego thoughts. And it's about September 13th, Canelo versus Crawford. And very interesting things were discussed. I'm going to get into the quote right now. Gabe Rosado says, quote, "People say Canelo has problems with movers. The reality is Crawford is not a mover. Crawford is a fighter that works on angles. He's not on his feet like Muhammad Ali. He's not that kind of boxer. So he's going to be there to be hit, and that favors Canelo." And Gabe Rosado goes on to question Crawford's style, like, will he show us something that he hasn't done? He says, quote, "Overnight, is Crawford going to switch his style and become a mover, moving up 3 weight classes? Now you're going to put on all that weight, and you've never boxed like that before. How can you? I just don't see him changing his style. Crawford is a guy with heart, and he really is a fighter. There's going to come a time where if Canelo catches him, his pride and his ego is going to get in there, and he's going to try and get it back. That's going to open up opportunities for Canelo to land big shots," right? Now, once again, your boy Ego continues to be the gold standard for boxing commentary. The best in the business, and it's not even close, excluding no one. Look at what I embody. How come, if you really listen to my videos, after my videos release, you start hearing trainers, former champions, fighters, current champions, boxers, they're all saying what I've already put out. It's just the way it is. Gabe Rosado is posing the same, almost verbatim questions, if you guys know. If you remember me saying these things almost to a T, then just type "I remember" in the comment section. The issue is this. I hate the fight. I have never liked the fight. I have never been on board with the fight. I've been very transparent. The only reason I am talking about the fight is because I have a business. I'm a businessman, and you know that because you find me at my places of business. So I get paid from this. That is it. That is all. Me when I'm talking about, you got to understand and wear different hats as a business owner, right? Again, I used this example before. If you have a movie review channel, right, and you're not big on comic book movies, but everybody's talking about Black Panther, everybody's talking about the new Avengers, everybody's talking about and anticipating the new Superman, you would be a fool on your movie review channel to not give the people what they want, right? So I want to make that distinction, because some people, they're either brain dead, you got TikTok brain rot or whatever. So they question, come on, Ego, why are you making another video about Canelo Crawford if you don't like the fight? Because I'm giving you my personal opinion, but if there's things to talk about, just like the movie review example I just gave, I'm going to do whatever I want to do as it pertains to the business and give the fans the conversation. And let's be real, in boxing right now, there's no crazy topics going on. Like there's no crazy. See, and that's the other thing. I know how to do this because I've been doing it for so long. And this is really effortless at this point, right? I don't ever miss major news cycles to talk about anything. You know what I mean? So there's not really too much going on. Like there was no major fight on Saturday. Next week, I mean, Dillian White's fighting, I guess. It's not like no big fights coming on where it's like, oh, let's not talk about this to talk about that. That's just what it is. And I'm talking throughout boxing. So enough of that. Gay Rosado right here in this interview with Fight Hub, he's telling you everything I said. Crawford is a great fighter. I keep saying that. For some reason, the Bud Buddies like, oh, come on, Ego, you hate Crawford, and we'll they say, we'll see what you have to say after September 13th. I've already been on record. I don't care who wins this fight. May the best man win. It's a double knockout. I don't care. Like it's just a fight. I don't even really care about the fight. I think it's a reach, and I think it will disappoint. That's my personal opinion. Could be wrong. Probably won't be wrong, but we'll see. You know, so I don't understand this. And it's so funny because the Bud Buddies and the Canelo fans, they get mad because I, on my channel, speak my opinion on a fight. And they're like, oh, man, come on, Ego. How are you not excited for this fight? I don't have to like what you like. If you like it, then that's what you like. Anchovy pizza with mushrooms, that's what you like. That don't got to do with me. You know what I mean? So I don't like the fight. I've already explained why I don't like the fight. And part of it was what Gay Rosado is saying right here. Terence Bud Crawford is not a colossal star, so he has no leverage. Canelo is going to have the leverage because he's the A side and he's more accomplished, more fights, more quality resume, etc., etc. So everything is against Terence Crawford. Let's just be real. Canelo got the weight he want. No give, no bend, no catch weight. Like, if you really wanted to sell me on the fight, maybe if it happened and they were closer in weight, I wouldn't really have a problem with it. My whole argument for why I'm not excited for the fight stems from weight. Weight, period. Like this, it'd be one thing if Canelo was at 160 and Crawford only had the one fight at 154. That's not, you know what I mean? That's not as wide a gap, right? So if Canelo fought Danny Jacobs and then right after Crawford said he wanted to move up, I wouldn't even be mad at that. But that's not how it worked out. That's not the timing. So it's such a wide weight gap that they're force feeding it to you, period, right? And what Rosado is saying is exactly what I've been telling you. Crawford, I don't know who knows what and what type of boxing you watch, but it is very apparent most don't know ish about boxing. And it's weird because some of these people, they know everything that's going on in boxing. They know all the players, the names, they watch the fights, but the interpretation of boxing is so crazily different. It's like we're watching the same movie, but then your takeaways from a movie are completely different. So boxing is still a niche subject where people that claim that they love it, they really don't understand it. They don't hear Jimmy. And that is the case. Most of the Bud Buddies and the people I see picking Crawford, I haven't heard really no intelligent breakdowns other than Crawford's good and Bud will show you in very generic surface area things like that as to why Crawford wins. Like I'm talking about a detailed breakdown of how it plays out, da-da-da-da. Because especially on some of the people who have more radical opinions, like for me, the people who are saying Crawford is going to stop Canelo Alvarez in the first half of the fight, like in 5 rounds, to me, that's a radical opinion. It's not saying it's impossible because it's boxing, but it's not likely at all to me. If he can do it, prove me wrong. Have at it. But you didn't stop Madrimov. You had Errol Spence and Sean Porter stoppages, but you didn't put these people out like Brian Norman, Jin Sasaki type of out. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's a TKO. So to move up in all this weight and you're just gonna knock out a guy with a granite chin, even if you feel Canelo has regressed some. Nobody's moved him in that way. So to me, I would love to hear an intelligent breakdown of how Crawford knocks out Canelo in 5 rounds, which is comments that I've seen. 2nd round knockout and all this type of stuff. Again, it's boxing. Anything can happen technically, but I don't think probability is on the side of that. Again, why didn't you knock out? You didn't even knock down Madrimov. And just like Rosado is saying, the issue is Crawford, a tiger doesn't change his stripes. A leopard doesn't change his spots. Crawford, I've said this from the beginning. Terence Crawford likes to fight. If you like, I study this sport. Whether people are like, oh, ego, you don't know, and all that. I don't care what you're talking about. I know I'm great. I know I'll be remembered in this boxing game, period. I study this game. I know little nuanced things that people overlook, right? Like, for example, when Crawford gets popped with good shots, a lot of times he'll stick his tongue out as a form of taunting. He doesn't really do it when he does it usually when he gets hit with a good shot. That's basically what I'm saying, right? So I study these little mannerisms and like, oh, Pacquiao did a little stutter step and these types of things, right? Crawford does that. So if he starts doing that with Canelo's experience, that's going to signal Canelo that he's having an effect on that. And the fact that I paid attention to Crawford doing this, he's not a spring chicken. He understands the game and whatnot. So for me, I feel like Crawford is acquitted him well, but in the divisions where he's a natural fit, right? To fight fire with fire all the time. But eventually it could get to a point where you try to fight fire with somebody who's technically good, even if they're not as good as you, they're still really good and bigger and stronger and more durable. That could be problematic. You know what I mean? I don't really want to get into it, but Errol Spence, to me, something was wrong with him when he fought Crawford. I don't know all the details, but just the way his punch resistance was set up and how he was going down, like for real, Kell Brook hurt Errol Spence and hit him with some big shots. And that pre-accident Errol Spence never even went down. You know what I mean? And Kell Brook was a big welterweight. Crawford, he gained some mass over the years. So I think that accident definitely took a toll on Errol Spence and created some lingering issues, whatever they were. Plus he stayed at welterweight too long, and it was like drawn out negotiations and whatnot to get to the Crawford fight. And then Crawford got a tune-up fight. Errol was foolish to have a long year-plus layoff while Crawford got an easy David Avocado tune-up. And then Errol thought he was going to just go in there off of a 1-year layoff and be sharp and be ready. And it was just a bad night for him. But it's funny because you got fans and they get mad at what I'm saying. And they're like, oh, ego, you're just mad because Crawford smashed up your boy Errol Spence and Canelo, you've already lost me. Because Errol Spence, great fighter. I'm still a supporter of Errol Spence. I don't care about that fight. It is what it is. It happened. Some of the greats have lost. You move on. Errol's a cool dude, great fighter, etc. But what does Canelo have to do with Errol Spence? Different divisions, different lifestyle, different everything. You know what I mean? Everything's different. So it's like, why are we even talking about Errol? So that's how I know these are emotional beings. These are beta males. Because the fact that you even mentioned Errol Spence for a fight that's taking place at super middleweight when Errol Spence hasn't competed in like 2 years, that shows me you're operating off of pure emotional fumes. Because Errol Spence has zero to do with Canelo Crawford. Canelo already been fought since that fight in 2023. Terence Crawford has already had a fight since 2023. I really hate this fight, and I'll be glad when it's over. I don't like it. There's so many variables. I might even make an updated video about all the things that I don't like from Canelo Crawford and as a fight. But back to Rosado's comments, the bottom line is Crawford is there to be hit, and if you hit him with a good shot, he wants to go to war with you and outdo you and outperform you. And that's what made him a great fighter at 35, 40, and 47. Doing that at 168, I mean, good luck. You know, we'll see how it plays off. But I don't see Crawford adding 20 pounds plus of bulk, and then now all of a sudden he's this polished boxer where he's playing keep away or Tom and Jerry style. That is not his MO. And then even if he makes it his MO, because he is taking a risk by moving up, and he decides to box him and move, who knows how that's going to look for the judges. And Turkey has been doing all this complaining, calling out Tom and Jerry style. So that would fit right into it. And then that would be bad for Canelo, and it'd be bad for Terence Crawford, because then Canelo would have 2 fights in a row, William School and Terence Crawford, where both fighters are trying to run. So if he does try to fight like that, it's not going to fare well, because your whole platform is against you and against the Tom and Jerry style of fight. And they made that very clear. You've seen why Shakur Stevenson tried to fight a lot more aggressive than he normally does because of the pressure. So it's going to be the same pressure on Crawford. Now, if he chooses something else, then, you know, who knows how the judges will score it if it looks like Crawford all of a sudden is in retreat mode and looking to like throw a shot here and there and pot shot. I don't know. That's going to be a lot. And it'll probably make Canelo more emboldened, because that's kind of what Charlo did. If Canelo feels you're in retreat mode and you're scared to engage, I don't really know that that's enough. I think to beat Canelo, especially as a guy moving up, you're going to have to mix it up. You're going to have to get some respect there. So I hope Crawford, I haven't seen him fight like this for the record, but I'm just going over all possible variables. If he does try to use a lot more lateral movement, then it's just going to get ridiculed and everyone's going to say you ran, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you could be like, oh, I had to do what I had to do, but it'll still make for a more lackluster fight. And then Canelo's hard to beat on scorecards. Who knows how the judges will even score that? So, yeah, I don't like the fight for many reasons. And then if Crawford goes toe-to-toe with Canelo, you know, good luck. You're fighting a bigger man, somebody who's strong and pretty durable. So doing the toe-to-toe is risky for obvious reasons as the smaller person moving up. So we'll see what type of success he can have. But for many of these reasons, I don't really like the fight. And they've done a very bad job promoting the fight. I made a video about it. Make sure you check that video on the channel. We unpack. Live streaming can be tough, which is why I use StreamYard. Click the link in the description for StreamYard, which is an awesome tool that enables you to set up your stream with ease of use. Get great results with live streaming. It's what I use. Stream to social media with ease with StreamYard. Live streaming is here to stay. Engage with your audience using StreamYard. Great way to reach out to your audience and connect. So you need a tool that can do that. If you're new to YouTube and you're struggling to get views, one tool I can provide to you is TubeBuddy. I've been on YouTube over 10 years. I use TubeBuddy daily to crank out videos just like this one that you're watching. Learn how the pros do it with TubeBuddy. YouTube receives a lot of traffic, which also means a lot of creators, a lot of people putting out content. So you need to learn the ropes so you know how to separate yourself, especially if you're new. But even if you're a pro, use TubeBuddy. The link is in the description. Get more views, more subscribers, and a higher click-through rate, so ultimately you can realize all of your online goals. Use my affiliate link in the description and grow your channel fast.